Did you know that Argentina, the land of tango, messy, and breathtaking landscapes, also has a unique demographic story unlike any other country in South America? Imagine a country where European faces dominate the streets, and the diversity seen in its neighboring countries is noticeably absent. This fascinating twist in Argentina's history has left many wondering, why doesn't Argentina have people of color, especially in a region known for its rich ethnic mix? Today, we're going to peel back the layers of Argentina's past, from the colonial era to government policies that altered the nation's demographic fabric. And if you stick around until the end, we've got a surprising revelation about a particular policy Argentina adopted that reshaped its society in unexpected ways. Ready to explore Argentina's unique story? Let's dive in. Our journey starts back in the early 20th century when Argentina's identity took a transformative turn. During this period, Argentina experienced a massive wave of European immigration that would forever shape the nation's face. After its independence from Spain, Argentina opened its doors to millions of immigrants from Europe. Migration policy estimated that the country received over 7 million immigrants, predominantly from Spain and Italy, between 1870 and 1930. This influx wasn't just random. The government actively encouraged European immigration to populate and modernize the country, viewing Europe as the epitome of progress and culture. These immigrants didn't only bring their belongings, they brought their traditions, customs, and way of life, creating a distinct blend that turned Argentina into what some call the most European country in South America. With these newcomers, Argentina began to resemble European cities, both in appearance and in culture. Buenos Aires, for example, soon became known as the Paris of South America, a nickname that speaks to the strong European influence visible in its architecture, food, and lifestyle. Now, you might be thinking, wasn't Argentina part of the transatlantic slave trade? Yes, it was. In fact, during the colonial period, African slaves were brought to Argentina to work in fields, households, and city construction. By the late 18th century, Washington Post noted that the population of Black Argentines was significant, making up roughly one-third of the country's residents. Cities like Buenos Aires were filled with Afro-Argentine communities that had their own vibrant culture, traditions, and social structures. So what happened? Why is there such a stark absence of Afro-Argentines today? One explanation lies in the role Black Argentines played in Argentina's fight for independence. Between 1810 and 1819, as the country fought for freedom from Spanish rule, many Black soldiers were recruited or conscripted to fight on the front lines. Tragically, a large number of them didn't survive. Those who did often moved northward, especially towards cities like Lima in Peru, seeking better opportunities away from war-torn Argentina. Another significant factor was disease. In the late 19th century, the United Nations reported that Buenos Aires suffered a major outbreak of yellow fever, which disproportionately affected Afro-Argentine communities. Due to poor living conditions and limited access to medical resources, many Black Argentines were unable to escape the epidemic zones. The impact was devastating, drastically reducing the Afro-Argentine population and further contributing to their dwindling numbers in society. If you think disease and war were the only reasons for this shift, think again. In the years following Argentina's independence, the government took active steps to whiten the population. This policy wasn't hidden. It was a well-documented effort to attract more European immigrants and downplay the presence of non-white communities. Argentine leaders of the time were heavily influenced by European ideals and aspired to build a society that mirrored European nations in every way, from architecture to demographics. Under President Justo José de Urquiza, the Argentine constitution explicitly promoted European immigration. According to History World, the government offered incentives to Europeans, providing land, resources, and citizenship opportunities to those willing to settle in Argentina. The goal was clear: to establish Argentina as a modern nation that aligned itself with the European standards of civilization, which at that time unfortunately included an emphasis on predominantly white society. This policy was not only about physical appearance, but also extended to culture, values, and societal norms. By prioritizing European immigration, the government hoped to create a civilized population that embodied European ideals. This strategic decision had a lasting impact on Argentina's demographic landscape, making Afro-Argentines and other non-white populations a minority in their own homeland. If you're enjoying this deep dive into Argentina's hidden history, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It helps support the channel and brings you more unique content like this. Now, let's get back to uncovering Argentina's fascinating story. With European culture firmly rooted in Argentina, a unique social identity began to take shape. Today, Argentines identify with European customs, music, fashion, and even dining habits. But does this mean Argentina is completely homogenous? Not entirely. While it's true that Afro-Argentines are a small minority, there's still a visible group known as Morocho. Oxford Research Encyclopedia defines the term as individuals with darker skin and hair who embody the complex racial legacy of Argentina. For instance, soccer icon Diego Maradona, though of European descent, had a darker complexion that made him stand out as a Morocho. This term itself highlights the nuanced layers of identity within Argentina. Unlike the sweeping racial diversity seen in neighboring countries like Brazil or Colombia, Argentina's diversity manifests in subtler ways, creating a complex blend of identities influenced by history, culture, and immigration. It's impossible to discuss Argentina's demographics without noting the striking contrast with its South American neighbors. In countries like Brazil and Colombia, African heritage remains vibrant and widely represented in daily life, music, art, and sports. Brazil, for example, is celebrated for its Afro-Brazilian culture, and it's common to see players of African descent representing Brazil on the world soccer stage. In Argentina, however, the legacy of whitening policies and historical events has led to a starkly different demographic reality. This difference is noticeable not just in the racial makeup, but also in cultural expressions. In Argentina, tango, often seen as the heartbeat of Argentine culture, reflects European influences, while in Brazil, samba showcases African rhythms and energy. Argentina's relative homogeneity compared to its neighbors is a testament to how policies and historical circumstances can shape the cultural and racial landscape of a nation. Walk through the streets of Buenos Aires today and you'll see the remnants of Argentina's European legacy. The city's architecture, cafes, and theaters echo those of Paris, Madrid, and Milan. Known as the Paris of South America, Buenos Aires showcases a unique blend of old world charm with a modern South American twist. The population reflects this too, with European features and customs still prominent. According to The Guardian, this strong European influence has even shaped Argentina's culinary preferences, from the wines of Mendoza to the beef-heavy asados, barbecues that define Argentine cuisine. These traditions stem from the country's immigrant past, with families passing down recipes and customs that have since become national staples. This lasting influence is a reminder of Argentina's deep-rooted ties to Europe, woven into the fabric of its society. As promised, here's the bonus fact you've been waiting for. Did you know that Argentina was one of the first countries in South America to legalize and monitor prostitution, a decision made as early as 1875? This controversial policy reflects Argentina's pragmatic approach to addressing complex social issues, often influenced by European ideas on governance and societal order. While it may seem unexpected, this decision aligns with Argentina's historical quest for modernization, and its alignment with European standards at the time. The legalization of prostitution was seen as a way to manage and control a reality that existed, allowing authorities to oversee public health and societal order. It's a fascinating layer of Argentina's history that adds even more depth to this nation's story, a nation that has consistently sought to reshape itself, sometimes controversially, in its pursuit of progress. So, as we wrap up our journey through Argentina, we can see that the country's demographics are no accident. Through wars, diseases, and a deliberate push for European immigration, Argentina has crafted a unique identity that stands out in South America. From the early influences of Afro-Argentines to the policies that actively whitened the population, Argentina's demographic landscape is the result of complex historical forces and government choices. Argentina's story is a powerful reminder of how historical events and government decisions can shape the very identity of a nation, leaving lasting imprints on its people, culture, and society. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Argentina's past. If you enjoyed unraveling these hidden layers, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more fascinating documentaries. And if you're curious about other unique countries, stay tuned for our next video, Life in the Czech Republic, the poorest country in Europe with beautiful and cute women. Until next time, hasta luego.